Bom dia. Well, I have a couple thoughts today on my walk. As you may remember in my last video, I was starting my move out of my apartment here in Salvador, and I'm moving to the small city of San Antonio, which is about 4 hours from here. And the friends came. We borrowed a pickup truck, and they took a lot of my stuff, but not all of it. Not all of it was able to fit into the pickup truck. And that made me remember and to think that, one of the many reasons that I made this transition to moving abroad was to become a minimalist. I had been living a number of years in a very large Victorian era flat in San Francisco, a beautiful home with multiple rooms with all the Victorian detail and lots of beautiful furnishings, artwork, pieces collected throughout Latin America and the world. But it took me a while to get rid of all of that stuff, and it was very much of a sense of a relief to get all of my belongings down to a couple suitcases, which is what I came here with. But old habits die hard, and I realized when I packed up to move my stuff on Wednesday that I had managed in the almost 3 years that I've lived here in Salvador to collect a lot of stuff. Just a lot of stuff, besides clothing, most of which I never wear. Some beautiful shirts, but I just don't wear them. I live in t-shirts, Bermuda shorts, and Havaiana flip-flops. And so I've got a closet full of brand new shirts and some shirts and pants that I brought from San Francisco that I never wear. But much more than that, I've accumulated a lot of home furnishings, decorations. Looked very nice in my apartment, but it defeated my idea of becoming a minimalist, and I want to get back to that. I did load up the pickup truck, but I still have a lot of stuff left in my apartment here that I need to get rid of, and I'm going to thin it out, what's left over. You know what I've been doing? Just putting things out on the street. Perfectly usable things. Some of them quite nice, aesthetically speaking. But there's a guy begging on the street. But you see that far, far less here than you do in the United States. Strange, because the United States is the richest country in the world, and Brazil has a lot of poverty, but you see far less of that kind of begging here than you do that. Anyway, yeah. I hate when they beep at me, honk at me. Anyway, I've been putting all that stuff out on the street. People snap it up instantly. This is not a culture where a throwaway culture like it is in the United States. I remember finding the most amazing things in the streets put out by people. Perfectly good, serviceable, very nice things. And they would sit there for a while. And you could furnish and decorate your whole home just by collecting things on the street in a city like San Francisco. But here they get picked up instantly, which I'm glad. I'm glad they're being put to use. But what I do not want to do is to do this again. Once I get to San Antonio and look at my stuff that was taken there in the pickup truck, I'm going to thin out my things even more, give away even more. I want to get to the point where I'm basically, everything I own can fit into maybe 2 large suitcases and a day pack. I want to have the ability to just up and move and not be encumbered by things. And that's what I realized when I made this move, the other day that I'm still encumbered by things. That's not what my plan was when I moved abroad, and I want to rectify that. You know, the impulse comes because I like creating a nice home. I have pretty good taste. Sometimes it's a little eccentric, but I know that people who come into my home always compliment me on my collections of world art collected from around the world, but I could have a comfortable home without filling it up like some kind of not hoarder, but like a maximalist. I don't need or want to be maximalist anymore. I want to be a minimalist. I think there's one subconscious impulse of filling things up, a home up, is that it weighs me down, figuratively speaking. It's like I'm all air. I just want to float away all the time. My impulse is to float away and not have a home base. And I think that subconsciously I accumulate things to kind of as a ballast to keep me grounded. But I don't want that. That phase of my life is over, and I realized it when it was time to move the other day, that I had created a big anchor again, and I don't want that, so I am paring it all down. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about. And my other thought for today is about the nightmare that just happened in the United States with the election, and how happy I am that I got out. That I am a legal permanent resident of another country, so I do have that escape valve. I have been in, well, my feelings have gone from utter shock at the election, like being plunged in a bath of ice cold water, and now I guess I'm in a deep mourning stage, and also a stage of anxiety for the United States, the country I was born in, and for people I care about who still live there. I just got an email from my dear friend in San Francisco who has permanent legal residency in Mexico. He owns a condominium in Mexico, and he tells me that he plans to spend a lot more time in Mexico as a result of the election and what's coming down the pike come January 20th, Inauguration Day. All of it, mass deportations, the undoing of constitutional checks and balances, etc., etc., etc. It's a nightmare, a dystopian nightmare. But thankfully, both he and I have an escape route in the form of permanent legal residency, and I encourage all of you who feel the same way to find your own way to escape that nightmare. I understand that permanent legal residency in another country is not always possible for everyone, but there are other ways. There's slow travel, traveling from country to country and region to region without getting any kind of residency or any paperwork. Just stay in a country for as long as you're permitted to on a tourist visa. That can be 3 months, sometimes 6 months, even for a few countries a whole year. And then just move to the next country and stay for as long as you can and move around that way. at least for the next 4 years, or as long as this American nightmare lasts. And there are ways, and it works out well, and there are alternatives. I'm living proof of that, and so are a lot of other people, and you'll find a lot of ways to move abroad on YouTube channels. I watch a lot of them. Hey! Hoje é sábado! Oh, 1 minute. My group is here. I was walking down the street here along the beachfront, and I totally forgot. I wasn't even thinking about it, that today is Saturday and it's 3 o'clock, and then suddenly I hear my name being called out, and I'm sitting here now near the lighthouse, and today is the meeting of the language meetup is what it is. People come to this group and speak all different languages, English, French, German, any language that you want, and since everybody in this group are polyglots, can usually find somebody who speaks whatever language you speak. So this is a pleasant surprise. So I'm going to hang out here for a bit. I never stay long because my legs hurt sitting here on the ground on this blanket. I'm the oldster, but I'll stay here and chat for a while, and then I'll head back home. Do you hear him? He's Brazilian, 100% Brazilian, but he's speaking with a German in German. And over there they're speaking Italian, and they're speaking in Portuguese with a guy from, I think he's from Italy. Lots of polyglots here. It's starting to rain now, so I'm going to head home. Thanks for joining me on my walk today. Beijos, ciao.